Alright, I got 2 more chapters of this stupid book to get through. I've got my own special blend of tea to help ease the pain, so let's plow right through it. But first, a little recap from the last 3 chapters. Batman gets high from eating some magic mushrooms at a banquet, other attendees of that banquet end up getting murdered, and Batman aimlessly wanders through the sewers of Gotham, somehow piecing together clues that can't possibly exist since this is all taking place inside of his head. Chapter 4 begins with Batman still hanging out of the window he was pushed out of at the end of Chapter 3, with Grace looking down at him. "Roswaal, is he dead?" "He isn't taking the night air, and you needn't sound so innocent, Grace." So, yeah, apparently the silhouetted woman in the last page was actually Grace. So, why did Batman call her Alicia? Well, actually, there is a very simple explanation. You see...
Sorry about that.
See? Makes a lot more sense now, doesn't it? The unseen goon that tossed Batman out of the window grabs Grace, and I can't tell if he grabbed Batman back inside too, or if Batman leapt in on his own. They fight for a bit, and it's revealed that the goon is actually Dennis Carpenter. I decided to come back and make sure that Roswaal was safe, okay? I looked up from the street and she's pushing him out the window! So apparently this floor isn't so high up that the Carpenter wouldn't be able to recognize Roswaal from the street. So he looks up, actually sees Grace pushing him out the window, and he actually goes up to see if he's okay instead of calling the police. I can't tell if this guy is a really bad liar or if this is just bad writing. You actually saw Grace do this? Who else could it be? Besides you, that is, Batboy. Yeah, Batman is well known for throwing people out of windows, followed by throwing himself out that same window just for the hell of it. They hear police sirens, and Grace says that it was she who called them. "Just deserts, Duchess, old girl." Was that supposed to be a play on words? Swapping out the word desserts for deserts? Or was it a misspelling? Or wait, why am I thinking about this? This doesn't make sense no matter what word it's supposed to be. "Please, I've never killed anyone. You must believe me. Look into my eyes." "I'm trying, but they keep changing from eyes to buttons to pinpricks. What am I looking at here?" Batman proceeds to tie up Carpenter. "Are you just going to leave him here to the police? He'll talk!" So what? If he's the guy who killed Roswaal, what could he possibly say that can be used against you? Carpenter pleads with Batman to lay out the rough stuff, and Batman says he'll use his knowledge of ancient Chinese pressure points so that he'll be dealt with without feeling a thing. And then Batman just punches his lights out. Batman's a dick. Batman needs to get Grace somewhere safe, so naturally he drags her through the sewers. Wait a minute. A sewer within a sewer? She tells Batman that the Mad Hatter took her in off the street when she turned 18. Yeah, that's not creepy or anything. And that she should hide out with him. His apartment's above the haberdashery. This way, I believe. As a stripper turned assistant to a close-up magician / haberdasher, I have intimate knowledge of the sewer layout. They find their way to the Mad Hattery, where they find the Hatter poised with a musket in hand. "One more step and you're snail meat!" And he opens fire on them 7 times. Pretty sure muskets don't work like that. By the way, either Batman and Grace are Kryptonians, or the Hatter forgot to load the gun with, bullets, since the 2 of them are just fine despite being shot at 7 times. They tell him of their predicament off-panel, and the Hatter sends her up to her room. And not content with simply twisting around these characters' proportions, now the art has decided to warp the costumes too. Thank you, comic. I completely forgot that this woman has an ass! Batman and the Hatter teleport to his hat shop again, and the Hatter offers Batman an Abraham Lincoln-styled stovepipe. I don't suppose there's any chance that the Hatter's going to turn into a vampire anytime soon, is there? Because Abraham Lincoln hunting a vampire Mad Hatter would be awesome! Feel the pure beaver skin, the pure odor. Only a few people in the world have the genetic ability to actually smell prussic acid. For all you know, that's just skunk funk that you're wafting at him. Batman goes into the sewers again to get to Judge Hart's house, because getting there above ground and without walking through human feces would just be silly, and he starts getting dizzy. Sewer gas? Or the fact that I haven't slept in 24 hours? It's the comic. It's making me feel dizzy too. Anyone got any Dramamine? And why is he going to Judge Hart's house again? Well, it's because... Explosion! Oh goody, more signs that don't have any reason for being here. Wait a minute. Is that... Oh my god, I think it is! In this panel, the sign on the right says Judge Hart, and in this panel, we see what looks like the same sign that has the same writing on it. That means that we have... continuity!
Continuity! Boom.
And who should we find creeping up on Batman but Celia? Ah, yes, Celia. The reason ad blocker was invented. Batman tells her to go home, and that he has no time for her silly games. You never would have talked to me that way when we were kids!
Well, you're dead now, so shut up!
Celia's tears flood the sewer, and coincidentally flushes Batman and Celia right out in front of Judge Hart's house. And for some reason there are a couple of chickens and a coop there. Whatever. They go inside, and Celia points out that the numbers on the clock are backwards. I think the editor of this book must have been high on hydroxypine too. Bruce, look! No reflection! Like peering through a window. Better yet, there's Judge Hart at the far door. Apparently, Hart can't see Batman and Celia through the mirror like they can see her, and coincidence of coincidences, she gets a phone call from Grace to tell her that Rustwall is dead. What do you want? I had to tell you that Rustwall's dead. What? You killed again? No, it wasn't me. Although there was someone there who says that he saw me kill him. What? He saw you kill him? Ooh, gotta go. Bye. Seriously, if you're not the killer, why are you calling someone who thinks that you are the killer just for the sole purpose of telling them that someone else on the guest list is now dead? You're not helping yourself here! She hangs up and goes to her nightstand. Damn it to hell! Months of perfect planning ruined! She locks the drawer again and leaves. I think I found a clue, Brucey. Come on! Oh, and look. The mirror that didn't have any reflection on it a minute ago now has a reflection on it. Anyone else surprised? Come on. Where? Where do you think, silly? Through the looking glass! Ladies and gentlemen, we have our poster! And yeah, I know that I said that Batman never goes through a looking glass in the last part of this review, but that was in reference to getting to Wonderland in the first place. Someone going through a looking glass to get to Wonderland? Kind of a big deal. Someone going through a looking glass while already in Wonderland? No big whoop. Although, if they're already in Wonderland when they go through this looking glass, doesn't that mean they should just end up back in the real world? Batman points out that the drawer is locked, and of course Celia has her own set of keys to open it. You know, if Celia can magically whip up anything she wants at any time, why doesn't she just conjure up some security camera footage showing who the murderer actually is so we can just be done with this? But before we can see what's inside the drawer, we cut to the Hatter's apartment. But I am happy. Very happy. Maybe the happiest day of my life. There now, all set. Comfy? Oh yes, very happy indeed. You see, I always knew you'd make an excellent Alice. Really? You're gonna take some homeless stripper off the street, shower her with kindness and decency for so long that she refers to you as dear uncle, and now you're just going to rape her? You know, not to sound like I advocate this kind of thing, but you could have just taken her off the street, given her some drugged tea, and then go on from there. Just saying. And seriously, you've been waiting for years to pull this off. You can't wait until after she's no longer a key player in this murder mystery and Batman no longer has his eye on you? Chapter 5 opens with the Hatter ushering Grace into his mad tea party, where Harry March is already in attendance. And for some reason he's in his more human form wearing rabbit ears instead of reverting to his hair form. And Grace is now wearing an Alice costume. So he undressed her and tied her to a chair just so he could untie her and then put her in new clothes? Be a good girl now while Harry frees your hands so you can read your script. Script? I know. I'm shocked that this comic actually had a script too. And why is she more horrified at the idea of a script than this pervert licking her across her face? For the tea party scene, of course. And do be letter perfect, won't you? Otherwise, I'm afraid. Harry? Off with her head! Oh, sure. Grace has to be the perfect Alice, but Harry March can randomly quote the Queen of Hearts? Freaking favoritism here. Back to Batman and Celia, who are getting a good look at what Judge Hart was hiding in her nightstand. A blueprint of a new amusement park called Wonderland. Then Judge Hart was trying to sway the council members' vote so that she and her tribe could grow even richer. And using Grace to do it. Only one person would actually object enough to that to kill someone. Or several someones. Let's see if I got this straight. Judge Hart wanted to build a Wonderland theme park, and she thought that the 5 council members would be so against the idea that she hired a magician to perform at a banquet for the lot of them, and then have the magician's assistant sleep with all of them to change their minds about it, and then she could build her precious Wonderland theme park? Are you seriously telling me that a judge in Gotham City has never heard of giving a bribe? Hell, would you even need to use bribery, blackmail, or other underhanded methods of getting this thing built? A new theme park would bring in tons of new revenue from tourists and create hundreds of jobs. These council members should be chomping at the bit to build this park. And what does the Mad Hatter have to do with any of this? A Wonderland theme park? This should be his bread and butter. Why does he want to prevent it from getting built? Or is it Grace sleeping with the council members that he's taking offense with? If that's the case, why doesn't he just turn the job down and leave? Why can't he just use his mind control to convince the council to build the park without defiling his precious Alice like that? Why does he think that killing people is the best idea? He's a magician and a hypnotist. He's not supposed to be this stupid! Anyway, Batman and Celia stay at the Hatter's shop, and Batman notices that Celia is starting to disappear. Drug's wearing off, Brucey. Time for me to go.
Celia, what will I do without you?
Anything!
Go back down the rabbit hole, Bruce. You'll know what to do. Judge Hart and her thugs arrive to take out the Mad Hatter, but jump Batman instead when they don't find him home. Yes, she has thugs. Why couldn't she just stick them on the council members to persuade them to build her park? Meanwhile, Alfred and Robin are still looking for Batman, despite not having any leads to where he might be. And before you can say Jackrabbit, Robin gets abducted by a guy whose name is probably Jack Rabbit. Back to Batman, who deals with Hart's goons and disposes of Hart by trapping her in a giant top hat and hanging her from the ladder tangled up in the ceiling fan. I'm almost positive that it's impossible to get a ladder to do that, short of taking it apart and reassembling it around the fan, but the comic's almost over. Batman heeds Celia's words and goes back down the sewer. Again. He hears footsteps behind him, and coincidentally bumps into Alfred.
Let's face it, this guy operates on unbelievable luck and coincidence.
Yep.
They come across more signs pointing to a single tunnel, and naturally, they all change shape and text between panels. And inside this particular tunnel, we see the Mad Hatter and his tea party, with Robin wearing what looks like a little pair of bear ears. Oh no, wait, they're mouse ears. To be fair though, mouse ears are some of the hardest things that any artist can draw. Batman tries to revive Robin, but the Hatter goes into villainous monologue mode. Afraid he only responds to my commands now. Robin, dear boy, treat our guests like a good little birdie. There we are. No death involved at all. See? Merely some mild hypnotism. That's my specialty, you know. So why aren't you using it on Grace so that she'll be more agreeable? Why aren't you using it on Batman so he'll just get up and walk away? Wait, why don't you even leave Batman here in the first place? Robin starts wailing on Batman, and Harry March dumps Alfred in a trash can. He then smashes a chair over Batman's back. Man, this guy's stronger than he looks. And the Hatter takes Grace to a nearby construction site adjoining his sewer-level tea party. And, of course, it has to include a big sign that says, Building Site, Caution. You know, just in case there are any passers-by wandering through the sewers. Anyway, the Hatter takes Grace up the service elevator into... Okay, I have no idea where we are now. It looks like maybe they're up near the ceiling of a cathedral with a dangerously narrow walkway with no railing, and they somehow get here from a construction site. Hi, Comic! I'm the reader. You want to clue me in as to what's going on? The gargoyles were my idea. None of this modern trash. I want a real retro look. Something befitting the classic Gotham skyline. Wait, he's an architect too? Who is this guy? And of course, Batman subdues Robin and Harry off-panel, and catches up with the Hatter. He threatens to push her over the edge if Batman makes a move. Must be double hard on you, old man.
I mean, even without the party clothes, she does bear a remarkable resemblance to our little Alice.
No, she doesn't.
Or should I say, your little Celia? Oh, yes, I know all about your little childhood sweetheart, Nightbird, and the guilt you harbor over that sweet dear child. The Hatter does his homework. It makes the stakes so much more interesting. Don't you agree?
No! It just makes the stakes more confusing! How did you learn about Celia? How did you know that Bruce Wayne feels guilty about her death? How did you make the connection that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same person if no one else in Gotham can? Why is any of this happening when you know the secret identity of the Batman? I mean, hello? Expose him! Sell his secret identity to the supervillain community for millions of dollars! Do something other than having creepy tea parties with your surrogate niece! Come on! And Batman, brilliant tactician that he is, makes a dive for the Hatter as Grace is tossed off the walkway. The Hatter is as surprised by Batman's actions as we are.
I'd have wagered both building and Judge Hart's amusement park that you'd have gone for the girl instead of me.
And the very next panel shows Alfred and Robin back at Wayne Manor with this forced exposition. Clever, Alfred. Phoning the cops and press from your cellular. Had little else to do inside that trash can, sir. Once you finally came to your senses. And by pure luck, Robin apparently just happened to be under Grace to catch her. And with no mention from Batman acknowledging that he knew Robin was there to help should things go awry, this just leaves us to think that Batman would rather sacrifice the victim in the name of capturing his quarry. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen! Not at all worried by how the Mad Hatter knows that he and Batman are the same person, Bruce saunters around what was once Celia's room.
How about it, sweetie? Show me a little sign you know I'm here. Just some little sign? No? Oh well.
And the comic finally comes to a close as the blocks change from Alice to Celia. What a twist? This comic is absolutely wretched. Repulsive artwork, nothing in it makes a damn bit of sense, and it's an insult to everything these characters are supposed to be. It has no idea what the Mad Hatter is, all of these Wonderland filler characters are a complete joke, and Batman only solved this mystery because he was smashed out of his gourd. Yeah, that's a good message for the kids. The only good thing I can say about this comic is that it will never blight my eyes again. We have a place for comics like you. The Box!
There's no